Gang, we got to have a talk. I got to talk to you about something that I think is pretty important, and it is about mindset. And when we discuss progression and load, what does our mind say about that? And what does our mind say about certain implements and the way that they look? Okay. The reason I'm starting this way and what I'm talking about is I have a particular client, and I've had many clients. Okay. And let me express it this way. I've had many clients I've had the opportunity to work with. I would say in my whole career, probably 150, I guess would be a safe way to say it. What's been really cool about my career is I've had a lot of clients that started with me in 2004 in Sacramento. I've been training since 1999, but training in Sacramento since 2002. At the country club, 2004 is really when I went full time. Okay. And a lot of those clients that started with me in my first year still train with me. So I didn't have a huge amount of turnover, but I've always had probably 3 years in, probably had 30 clients, and I've had like that pretty solid group of clients all the way through. So I would say another 100, maybe 120 people that I've had the chance to work with through there. And almost all of them have this. Why I'm saying all this, almost all of them have this mindset of certain things that we pick up are intimidating, they're scary, I'm going to hurt myself. And then other things are not. Okay. So let me paint it this way for you too. When you look at a kettlebell, okay, you see a kettlebell, you see a big iron or steel cast iron implement. It's black, it's banged up, it's probably chipped, right? Looks like ours, wherever they are over here, right? And people will see that. And I've had clients who specifically told me, okay, I do not want to touch those implements. I'm going to hurt my back doing that. And I'll say, was it the kettlebell or was it the amount of weight? And they're like, no, it's those. I don't want to lift those. And I'm like, okay, I get it. So there's a mindset there. Why do you think they make pink and purple and lime green dumbbells 1, 2, and 3 pounds when you see them on the rack? Why aren't the 100-pound dumbbells pink? Why aren't the 80-pound dumbbells purple, right? They're always black, and they're banged up and they're beat up. And then the 1s, the 3s, and the 5s are in great shape, and they're pretty, and they're light colors, and they're on the floor, not on something that's intimidating. This is a predetermined mindset that our industry is kind of set up that we have to break through, right? So the reason I'm bringing this up is I have clients who have told me they're worried about increasing their load because they're concerned they're going to get hurt. And I'm on the other side of this saying, I really need you guys to increase the load because we're not going to get enough of a challenge here to create any kind of stimulus for change. Once your body gets used to moving a certain load, it'll just kind of sit. It's just going to be like, well, I'm strong enough to do this, then I can just stay. And so a lot of my clients will go, hey, instead of doing 8 reps with a heavier load, I'm going to do 16 with this lighter load. Is that okay? And my answer is yes-ish. Okay. Number one, you could probably do more than 16 reps with a weight that light. You could probably do like 24 or 30. I mean, we're going pretty light with this because I'm pretty reserved when it comes to load. We're nowhere near max with any of our clients on any of their lifts. I mean, nowhere near it, guys. We'll work up to maybe, I would guess, 80%. Okay. So when I have a client say that, what's really happening is we're not working into muscular strength anymore. When you do a lighter load for more reps, you're going towards muscular endurance. And so you might hear that and go like, oh, well, that's good. So here's what happens with muscular endurance training. Lighter load, lots of reps, because you're like, well, it's got to burn a little bit. I need to feel a challenge. So now we start to get overuse injuries rather than, okay, maybe I took a heavier load and because I was in the wrong position, or maybe it was too big of a load. Now we're going to get a stress-based injury, meaning wrong position or the load was too heavy. So I'm not saying that either one is safer. What I'm saying is there's risks on both ends. But what matters is proper position, proper progression, and recovery and maintenance, all the volumes that we select in there, it needs to be right. So when I ask you to go from 10s to 15s, I'm not asking you to go to 15s because I want you to get jacked and we're going to get huge. What I'm doing is I'm asking you to do 8 reps with 15s because you're capable of doing this. We don't hope lift. I don't hope lift any of you guys. I don't hope program. I don't hope anything. Meaning, I hope you can lift this. I don't do that. That's not professional. It's not in my best interest or your best interest for me to hope that you can lift something and get hurt. What I do is I know lift. I know, K-N-O-W, not N-O. I know that you can lift this. I know it. I've watched you. I've coached you. I've progressed you. I see what you can do mechanically. I know that you can lift it. But I need you to believe me, number one, that I wouldn't ask you to do something that you can't do. And number two, you need to believe in you. The self-doubt that we put in there is, I'm going to get hurt picking up this heavy implement. Okay? But let me break down weight to you another way. You see kettlebell and you go, intimidating. It looks heavy. I'm going to hurt myself. Okay? This guy weighs 13 pounds. But if you go to the grocery store and you buy yourself a juice drink, 1 gallon weighs 8 pounds, and you'll carry 2 of these from the car into the house, up the stairs, around the kitchen, put it in the cupboard, put it up on the top of the cabinet, put it down underneath. You'll move 8.5 pounds in each hand all over the place. But because, well, this is something that I drink, or it's something that I eat, or the groceries that I move, the way that it's packaged, the intimidation factor, well, this is function, this is food, this is stuff that I'm moving around. It's still load. I've seen you pick up 30-pound bags of dog food and carry it out to your car. But I ask you to pick up a 13-pound kettlebell and you're going to hurt yourself. You see what I'm talking about with mindset? So why do I want you to challenge yourself with heavier load? Said principle, a specific adaptation to an imposed demand. What is the imposed demand? A little bit heavier load. What is the specific adaptation? Muscular growth. Muscular growth can happen in 2 ways. I could lift you really heavy and the fibers will tear and your muscles will get big and your neck will go away and you won't be very flexible. Those are all, that's a joke, by the way, I'm being sarcastic, okay? There's zero proof to becoming more muscular equals less mobility, etc. A lot of people just look that way. I don't want to get off on another tangent, okay? Okay, but you actually, most people as they get bigger and stronger get more flexible because they move through better ranges of motion with weight, which is how flexibility is made, okay? So that's one way. The other way, okay, so we tear fiber in a good way, tear fibers need a repair, so they create more binding sites. Each end of the muscle, actin, myosin, they bind together and they make another. So think of like you're shaking hands. Well, I just made 2 more hands to shake. So now we have 3 sets of hands, all shaking hands, right? And then there's another way to do strength training where you pick a load that's a tiny bit more, not super heavy, but a tiny bit more. And I ask you to do that with really good tempo, 3-second negative, 1-second positive, with perfect form, with great technique. And we take our time going a little slower and lifting a slightly heavier load. And instead of tearing the muscle so much that it has to rebuild another binding site, it just creates a firmer, more dense binding site. So that's how you can get stronger without getting bigger necessarily, okay? And just to squash one more stereotype out there, anybody over the age of 35, good luck getting too muscular. I've been in this industry 24 years. I've yet to see someone that's just like, I'm just too huge, bro. I have gotten so muscular, I just can't do it. And I know all you ladies out there, you're like, well, I was working out and my thighs were getting too thick. You are a plant that has never been watered, gang. When you come in to exercise, and then we start to water you, what happens to that plant? It's gonna grow, dude. Your muscles have not been trained to do anything, so yes, they're gonna change, but that's a good change. That's what you want. I want your muscles to get stronger. Don't you want them? And we'll hear like, well, I want my arms and my shoulders, but nothing else. So you just want one part of your body to be really strong? That makes the rest of it weak as shit. I don't want that. I want you just strong all over the place. I want all of it strong. And the majority of the time, when you say your thighs got bigger, for a day or 2, they were swollen. But if you'd wait 3 days after leg day, they're right back to what they were, guys. It takes a shit ton of work, a lot of work to get your thighs, to get your shoulder, to get things bigger. I'm talking about an ass load of work. Like, it is so hard to get muscle to grow. You have to stress and you have to, I mean, the amount of work to get bigger is really freaking hard. 3 sets of 10s, not gonna do that to you, okay? It just isn't. I gotta be real with you. And if you're just picking weight that's like a 5 out of 10, there is no chance in hell you're going to get too muscular. It's just not gonna happen. Will you get stronger? Absolutely. And if you stress that a little bit more, will you get stronger? Absolutely. If you continue to water that plant, what happens? The plant gets stronger. But at some point, the plant's just like, bro, I'm a 6-foot plant. I'm here. Well, now what? Do you keep watering the plant? Absolutely. Does it get any bigger? No. That's its size. That's what it's supposed to be. And that's what you'll become. The only way to continue that growth is, most cases, unnaturally. Okay? Which means getting on some type of assistance program that's beyond what your normal body would produce. Steroids is what I'm saying, for the most part, okay? For the most part. I get it, you can do different programs and they'll create different stimuluses. I understand all that. I'm talking about drastic change, drastic gain. Once you kind of get to the frame you're supposed to be, you kind of just stay there. But that doesn't mean you can't get more conditioned, more flexible, more, you can improve in all kinds of areas. You're just not gonna get any bigger, guys. It's not gonna happen for you, okay? So just take that out of your mind. We're not worried about getting too muscular. There's no such thing as I'm too healthy, I need to back off my exercise program. There's I'm getting injured, there's I'm overtraining, there's I'm not getting enough sleep, there's I'm underhydrated. All of those things can occur, which ultimately lead into injuries. So that would be the issue, but not from being too fit. It's from all the others. Do you see what I'm talking about with mindset? This is what I'm saying, is that our societal norms, our societal expectations in the weight room, weights are for men and they're scary, and ladies are supposed to be over on the little adductor machines picking up pink weights, and I say, fuck that shit. That's what I say. Excuse my language, but I'm done with the stereotypes and I'm done with all of this. We have grown beyond it. Okay, our generation, my generation, I'm like X and whatever comes after X, not millennial. I'm somewhere in between there. I don't even know what it is. Is it Y? Is it Z? I don't know. I don't know whatever the one is there in between there. I'm right there. I'm like right on that edge of those in there, where my generation grew up in weight rooms. The generations after me have all grown up in the weight room. It's the older adult baby boomer generation did not. And so that's the generation that comes into this room and goes, oh, this is uncomfortable, male or female. But society says, this is a men's weight room. Do you know that 75% of my clients that come in this room are female? That's not even true. I just lied to you. 90% of the customers that come into this space are female. 90%. I have 2 male clients that train in this space. The other 22 are female, okay? And then online, I am pretty much 50-50 with my other 35, 40 clients that train online with us. And they all have weight rooms. A lot of them have weight rooms, and they have weights, and they have kettlebells, and they have all this stuff that's intimidating. Like, it's the thing, okay? Let's not be intimidated by weights. Let's not be intimidated by the space. I think we're all moving in that direction. That's good. What I want you to be cognizant of, what I want you to be aware of, is that load is load no matter what it looks like. And when I'm asking you to challenge yourself, if you are asking, or your coach is asking you to challenge, and there's a load that you're like, I can lift that, I'm just worried I'm gonna get hurt, I want you to take your time. I want you to focus on your technique. I want you to stay within your limits. I know all the t-shirts say, know your limits and exceed them. Well, that's how shit gets broken, okay? That's how you hurt yourself. So know your limit and stay inside it while you master lifting this heavier load. And what I mean by master is get comfortable moving the heavier load, get comfortable challenging. If I say I need 8 of these and you're like, I can do 4, and then I feel like I'm getting out of control, then great. We'll do 4 with the heavier load, and then grab the lighter load and do 4 more, and there's my set of 8. And then the next time we do it, I bet you'll be able to do 6 with the heavier load and 2 more with the lighter weight. And then the next week, you'll be able to do all 8. And now the weight that you look at and you're like, I can handle those 10s, I'm comfortable with 10s, I'm not gonna get hurt with 10s. The way you feel about the 10s, that's how you're gonna feel about the 15s. And then when I say, hey, look at those 20s, and you're like, no, not the 20s, I'm going to get hurt. We're right back to the cycle again. I will not ask you to do something that I don't know you can do. And those of you that don't train with me, if you have a good coach and a good trainer, they won't either. And if you're on your own, I encourage you to go through that checklist. Slow down, focus on your technique, focus on your tempo. And as long as you're able to do those things, move the weight with control. So you're not heaving, what I mean by slowing down. You're not yanking and just trying to momentum it, right? Slow down. Good volume, meaning I can do my, 2-second concentric, 2-second eccentric. I can do that as my program says. I can do this safely and with the best technique. As long as those things don't break down, guys, you can lift the weight. There's no point in being intimidated by it because you're already moving weights like that throughout your day. You just don't know it. Your trash can probably weighs 60 pounds and you're sled dragging it out to the front yard. The amount of stress put on your forearms, your shoulders, and your lower back, dragging that out, is way more than the 15-pound dumbbell I'm asking you to pick up. We just don't see it that way. We see heavier load injury, okay? And that's not the case. You guys can do this. As long as you are sticking to the plan and your technique is sound, you're listening to your coach, it does us nothing to get you hurt. And then we can't train anymore, right? Now you're out. Now you're on a break. And that's not what any of us want. It's no good for you. It's no good for me. I don't want that. What I'm trying to do is get you more handshakes or get you a firmer handshake, depending on what we're training for. Okay. I want you to feel strong. So when the dog food bag comes up and the guy's like, do you need a hand with that? And you're like, no, bro, I got this. And you sling that shit on your shoulder and you walk out to the car. When the grocery guy's like, can I push the cart out? You're like, no, I got this. I push the tank all the time. I'm good. I do farmer carries all the time. I'm good. I can handle 20 kilos in each hand, 45 pounds in each hand. I'm good. Now we're training for life. This is the purpose. Don't be intimidated by what we put in front of you. Don't be intimidated by the equipment. Own it. That is your space. This is your time. We are here to help you learn how to own that, to be confident, to be prepared, to be capable of training with that load and transitioning that strength out into your real life endeavors. So when the situations come about, you don't get hurt because you can move that load. You need help? Ask me, ask your coach, ask those around you that know how to do this. We're here for you. We got your back. You see that heavy load? Go for it.